That's probably like my favorite entrance ever. But hey guys, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. It has been quite a week. Hello, hello. You're an Imperial Renegade Kenstar. Oh my gosh. Hi. Where's the new emote? Hey Randman. It's still pending. So I uploaded it today. I'm still waiting on it, but other than that, it should hopefully be in by Monday. Fingers crossed. But hi Jimmy, hey Jay Muscle Man. Hey guys, welcome back to Entering Operations. We're doing a special episode today because it's a Gree week, so what better time to do Xenoanalyst than Gree week? Without further ado, though, let's get started.
This crappy area mission.
What crappy area mission?
Area combat specimen is completely pointless, and I'm never gonna kill those world bosses. So.
Never gonna kill those robots, right? All right, guys. Well, hello, hello. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here this evening. How are we all doing tonight?
I'm on a tank. I don't feel very secure.
As usual, I'm going to go down and introduce our experts for Xenoanalyst tonight. We actually have a couple of new people in today who have graciously offered to help us out, so I'll be introducing them, and thank you guys again for coming in last minute to help us out. As always, we have the amazing Audria, who is our Assassin Shadow DPS expert. What's shaking, bacon?
Hello.
Hello. Filling in as a healer tonight, we actually have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Randman. Hey, Randman. What's going on? Nope.
What's up?
I was about to say, even with that introduction, you're not going to say hi? Okay.
Oh.
Randman is going to be healing for us this evening on a Sork, so thank you so very much. We have the Governator is filling in for us for DPS tonight. Governator, what's up, my man?
Not much. How's it going?
Going good. Thank you so very much for showing up tonight. And as always, we have the amazing, the one, the only, Kagiwagi. Hi, Kagi.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Ich bin sehr gut. Und du?
That was the completely wrong language, but we'll take it anyway. We have Tom, the terrific Tom, who is tanking for us tonight. Yes. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay. Just okay. And then last but certainly not least, we have Zonda. Zonda, thank you so very much for coming in and healing for us tonight.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Scared for Tom, but otherwise fine.
I'll let you know how I'm doing after Xeno. I could be a little crispy.
We're going to be a little crispy, just a little bit. All right, so we're going to just go ahead and jump right into Xeno. In order to begin the Xenoanalyst mission / quest, ability to actually do Xeno, you'll need to talk to the lovely, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly, Xylock. The lovely Xylock.
Long time, no see tongue, how is milady?
Doing good, thank you so very much for the resub, big dog. So, here on Ilum, in the Gree area, there is this Gree called Xylock that has a item called the Authorization Gray Secant. You're going to buy one of those for 1,000 credits, and it does require newcomer reputation with the Gree in order to actually purchase it. So, but newcomer is very easy, just a couple of dailies. I think doing the weekly ones will actually hit that newcomer cap. I could be wrong though. So once you have activated the Gray Seeking authorization, you're going to come over to this lovely little platform over here and select the Northern Terminus. Also, whoever summoned us into a PvP zone, your mom's a hoe. You're automatically going to get placed into stealth whenever you use the Terminus. Hey, bro. So that's just something that always happens no matter if you go to the southern portion or if you go to the northern portion. For the Imperials, the location for the Gray Seeking is located on the left. For the Republic is going to be on the right. So, if you actually go to the wrong one, you will. Does it still one-shot you? I haven't tried
Yep,
that out.
that little droid will one-shot you.
That one little droid will one-shot you. It's pretty glorious.
Demonstration.
No, we're not having a demonstration. There is, yes, that's correct. So, getting to Xeno isn't that problematic, but if you don't have a summon, there is a little maze that you will have to do. This is actually one of the daily areas. So, hopefully somebody has cleared out the ads already. If not, you're just going to have to truck along. That's a leave stain, darling. Oh, Darth Hexen, you and me. So, who's ready for Xeno? Who's excited for Xeno? Don't everybody talk up at once. Let's hope the hyperpod. The red sphere. The thing that people want that nobody gets. By the way, this episode is going to be dedicated to SBH. The What is SBH? He does. You know, the only exciting part of this operation is if you have a non-synth tank. Well, guess what, Silo? We have a non-synth tank today. We have a power tech tank. And he's I am going you are a healer main, yes, but I'm going to consider you a tank. Hopefully. Hopefully you're tanky enough, yes. So, this is the way you get to Xeno. You just come up the little stairs over here, over to the side. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of ads that actually do quite a bit of damage, so you are going to have to run through as fast as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop and trench here, and then I am going to run like a little baby, and then run through. They did. Poor Darth Hexed, sacrificial lamb. So this droid right here, though, will kill the ads that enter into the zone after they've been chasing after you. So you don't have to worry about killing all of them unless they don't come close enough to actually get targeted by the droid. LOS! So, but that is how you get to Xenoanalyst if you do not have a summon. It's flip-flopped entrance-wise. So entering the Gray Seekin for the right side will be the Republic, but the actual operation for Xenoanalyst, the entrance for the Republic is also left side. That droid does kill Republic-aligned players, just as an FYI, and the Republic droid does kill Empire characters. So be careful and make sure you don't go into the wrong one. That's what she said. Alrighty then. Xenoanalyst. So this is, if you have never done the area mission, you will be getting an area mission as soon as you zone in. It's called Combat Specimen. Requires you to defeat Xenoanalyst 2, Surcock, and Gravcock, which are the Ilum Gree world bosses. But right now we're just going to be focusing on Xenoanalyst. All right, so it looks very, very similar to Operator 9, just in terms of aesthetic. But if you look around, you can see that there are going to be 3 orange. There is no weekly for this. There are going to be 3 orange shielded cores. These are a mechanic that we're going to be talking about here shortly. So there's going to be 3 cores on each side of the room. It's going to be north, west, and south if you're looking at your mini map right here. So it's going to be north, west, and south. Then inside the zone, as you can see, as we've marked these panels, which are clickable panels during the fight, are going to be another mechanic that we're going to talk about here. To start the fight, the tank or the designated person, usually the tank, will click this panel. Xenoanalyst will have a little bit of a conversation just saying, hey, thanks for, deciding to participate in this combat specimen, or this combat sequence, yada, yada, yada. There's going to be about an 8-second cast time where he channels to actually turn in to get to the fight to start. So you will not start immediately after hitting the panel. So just as a just as a warning, they don't throw down your orbitals, don't get your, don't pop your adrenals right as right as he starts talking. All your bases belong to us. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Xenoanalyst story mode mechanics. Um, so there's going to be, how many phases are there? I would say 3 phases altogether in the fight. You have a core phase, you have a panel phase, and then you have an add phase. Well, no, there's 4 phases. 4 phases, and then you have a specific tank mechanic called thermal tolerance. So the timeline of the mechanic or those phases is as followed. Shut up, man. You have the panel mechanics. That's going to be the first phase. Every single person, at least 8 in an 8-man raid, and then 8 people in a 16-man raid, will have to click one of these panels. You get a debuff that disallows you from clicking a panel until that debuff wears off. And it's just a yellowish orange circle that appears on your debuff bar. Once all of the 8 panels have been clicked, there's going to be a AoE. So it's just going to be an area of effect, just kind of like a pulse set of damage that you can actually line of sight by the pillar going behind one of the pillars. It will cut off the AoE damage and you won't receive any. Then the second phase is going to be a phase called thermal tolerance. This is a tank healer mechanic that tanks especially have to look out for. They will be getting a stacking. So Xenoanalyst is going to start channeling a laser. And that laser is going to deal increased damage to the tank. So the tank needs to either pop cooldown. If you're a Sin, you shroud. Force speed, any of the plethora of cheese mechanics that stealth breaks the cast, so that's why typically you look for an assassin tank. However, if you're not an assassin, what you're going to want to do is line of sight the channel. So if you have a Sork in the group or a Sage, either healer or DPS, and if you don't feel comfortable running, if you don't feel like you're going to make it, have one of your extricate targets extricate you and do the same, line of sight the cast, break the cast, and you'll be okay. We're going to have Tom talk a little bit more about that as a power tech here momentarily. So after that, after the first thermal tolerance phase, there's going to be a core phase. In story mode, most groups will ignore the core phase mechanic entirely, and will just continue to DPS Xenoanalyst because he doesn't shield himself. But in hard mode, you cannot ignore the shields or ignore the cores. If the cores are ignored, Xenoanalyst will start randomly targeting players as a negative feedback, and that negative reinforcement. In story mode, it just kind of tickles. In hard mode, it will kill you. So you'll want to kill the core, and then you immediately come back and start DPSing the boss again. Then there's going to be a 4th phase, which is a wave of adds, and it's different for each time this wave comes out. So the first wave of adds is going to be little act dogs. Your tank is going to want to go grab them up. The DPS are going to AoE them down, and then there's going to be the panel mechanic again. Typically you want to make sure that the panels aren't hit until after all of the adds are down, because you don't want the boss to be getting ready to do thermal tolerance on your tank while the adds are still up. So definitely try to make sure that your group doesn't click the panels or doesn't phase into the next round of thermal tolerance preparation until after the adds are down. The second wave of adds is going to be gun darks. They tend to hit a little bit harder. If your tank feels comfortable, Same thing as with the act dogs. You'll gather them up, AoE them down, click the panels, and then move on with your life. The last wave is a Rancor. That will require your tank kiting the Rancor around the room until the DPS kill it, click the panels, and then move on with their lives. And that is going to be the base. That is going to be the majority of the fight in both story mode and in hard mode. After Xenoanalyst reaches about sub 20%, typically Rancor is a bad thing. To get the Rancor ad means your DPS is a little bit slow. It's not an automatic wipe like it used to be. Back in the good old days, this getting a Rancor would mean that your group was going to wipe. And so people would stuck it if the Rancor came out, but it's totally manageable from here on. From here, just requires a little bit of finessing and your tank knowing how to kite and not panicking. So it wasn't an automatic wipe. People just tended to panic. Burn phase in Xeno begins at 16%. He's going to become invulnerable to damage. Everyone at that point should go underneath the boss. Hi, Xeno. Go underneath the boss. He's going to do another 8-second channel where he's getting ready to do urgency. At that point, your tank is just going to very similar to Burn on Terror from Beyond, where the tank is just going to rotate taunts as much as possible. In story mode, it kind of tickles. In hard mode, it can kill people. So this is a great place to pop Sniper Shield, stack for AoE heals, pop Ray buffs, Adrenals at this point. We will typically you want to pop Ray buffs at the beginning and then in the burn phase. Yeah. If you have PTs or Vanguards, Rebounders, Juggernauts and Guardians can reflect. Kagi, please tell me if I'm wrong there. You can barrier. I think you can force barrier urgency as a Sorc or a Sage. Yes, story mode does not mean that you are invulnerable. Story mode things you have to do a lot of things wrong in order to mess up. So that is the basic mechanics and basic outline of the Xenoanalyst fight. So one particularly very notable thing to mention is that there is no bolster in story mode Xeno. No bolster at all. So if you come in here on a sub 70 character, you're going to stay that sub 70 character. So, all right, guys. Is there anything in particular you would like to talk about being a melee? Kagi, talk to me about being a melee in Xenoanalyst. Give me a second. I am hearing that people are not being able to hear Discord. Hey, can you guys, somebody in Discord, Kagi, say hi for me real quick? Okay, there's something wrong with. Give me 1 second. Okay, try again.
Try again.
Memes.
There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it to work now. I apologize. I had a setting down. All right. I'm going to ask that question again. I am very sorry. Please.
That's no problem. So guessing this as a melee is rather simple. You're doing your main rotation on the boss the whole time, switching the cores when you need to, back on boss. When the big AoE damage is about to go out, make sure you use your AoE damage reduction for Threatening Scream. If you do that, it's really good for the healers. Healers will appreciate it. If you don't, it's no big deal because healers are used to nobody popping any damage reduction for that. When you need to kill the ads, if there's multiple ads, just pick one ad, burn it down, use your shatter, impale, force scream, smash. Once your smash is done, go ahead and switch to the main target that you need to kill. That way you're able to get your dots up on everybody, and it's not going to pull aggro from the tanks because they'll throw their taunt up after that. And it's just a really straight burn fight for the melee DPS.
And it's very similar for ranged DPS as well. Ranged DPS and healers are actually going to highly recommend standing by the panel. It's easy. So pick a panel. This is my panel. There are many like it, but this one is mine. So find a panel, stick with it, and you will be in charge of clicking that panel every time throughout the fight. Other than that, it's very, very similar to a dummy parse. It just requires a little bit of mechanical awareness, just a little bit, and knowing when to target swap. So there's really not a lot of things to be afraid of here in Xenoanalyst. So with that, we're actually going to start. We're going to do our story mode pull. All right.
Participant species. Circumstances evolve. Purple tangent.
Yes, he even loudly informs you that there is a mechanic.
Compiling suitable interactive research exercise.
So
Please maintain orange equilateral.
So it is actually a 12-second cast time.
Preparation complete. Participant species may begin the experiment
Now
at any time.
the fight begins. You have 10 minutes in story mode, and then I believe it's 8 minutes in hard mode.
That sounds right.
Something about that.
Problem. This unit's nanite shield confers immunity from attack.
Okay, so he is shielded, which is why you need to click the panels. So once the panels have been clicked, as you can see, I'm going to run around. We have one panel over there to the... Yep, there you go. Perfect. There is a wave of AoE damage that goes out, and then you just continue to DPS as if nothing happened. So, Xenoanalyst is very, very vocal about what's going on. So he will tell you when there is a mechanic that you need to be aware of. So right now he's getting thermal tolerance.
That would have been a fail in hard mode.
That would have been a terrible fail. Oh my goodness.
If you were a Juggernaut tank, you could have reflected it after 5 seconds.
After 5 seconds.
Right, you'd want to start the reflect after 5 seconds because you can spec into reflect starting a reflect that will last an extra 2 seconds, so a reflect will last for 5 seconds total.
Nice.
But the damage done by the Xenoanalyst is 10 seconds, and it's the stacking damage, so you'd actually want to hit reflect after the first 5 seconds.
That is good to
You
know.
will have to swap after you do that, though, because if you do it that way, you're going to take all the stacks, so you're going to be unable to tank the boss till your stacks fall apart. And here comes
negative
reinforcement.
Encouraging improved
So this is why we DPS, or we don't DPS cores in story mode, because the only consequence to not doing it is that negative reinforcement, which doesn't really do much of anything in story mode. So killing cores in story mode is basically a pointless DPS loss.
It is. All right, so here comes the first wave of ads. He's going to have his shield come up, so we can't do anything. Beep, beep. So we're just going to DPS these ads down. And then once the ads are down, everybody runs to find their panel. Click the panel. And that means that we're ready for the next phase to begin. There's the wave of AoE damage. We're not even going to get a second. I don't even know if we're going to get a second thermal tolerance.
Well, we might get thermal, but we're not getting more ads.
No, we're not. And we're definitely not getting another core. We might not even get it.
No.
All right, so we are now in burn phase.
We should probably nerf ourselves with lower tier gear.
Not for hard mode. We'll see plenty of phases in hard mode.
All right, so this is Generate Urgency. This is Burn Phase. I'm going to pop Sniper Shield. You'll want to have your group stacked for AoE heals. This is a great place to pop raid buffs, adrenals.
Why are you taunting? Let people's rebounders do work.
Because people don't have rebounders at that point.
People have rebounders.
Sweet! Conquest!
You see the rebounders.
I
And
didn't have rebounders.
then you're not paying attention. That's actually a great way to put it. If you die on story mode, you're not paying attention. It was very fast. It very much was.
We win.
We
Yay.
win. So story mode only drops the 236 gear. But that is basically, in essence, what Xenoanalyst is. It's a very simple fight, especially in story mode. Yeah, if you do it perfectly, it's fast. I mean, we purposely failed the core mechanic, and it was still
Well, that's because
very.
it's the optimal solution. It makes it faster.
It makes it faster, exactly. But you can't do that in hard mode, which we're going to show you right now. Why you can't do that in hard mode. Yes, you get 4 of the Gree currency, 1 purple Gree reputation. You get 4 in story mode. In 8-man. In 16-man, you get double the components. So you get double of the double the helix components.
16 men's usually the way to go.
It is.
If you're on Satil Shan, SBH makes lots of Xeno runs.
This episode is once again
lots of Xeno.
dedicated to SBH. So
Who is SBH? What is SBH?
what is
We
SBH?
will never know.
The world may
All we
never
know
know.
All we know is whenever it's Eyeless or Xeno or even Taboro's
Thank you.
courtyard, he is involved.
All right, so we're gonna go back in and do hard mode. I'm gonna send out a summon. Guys, I want to introduce you to Os or Ryan. He plays a assassin and he plays a sork, so he is filling in for us for hard mode tonight. And I may or may not have spammed him with like 67 messages today. So I love you, Os.
No problem.
Only 67.
Only
It was
67.
It was 57 the first time, and then when she said she didn't need me, I got up to clean up dinner for my wife, and I came back and there were 17 more messages.
Okay,
after
so
that,
it was 74 then. My B. My B. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Tom, do you want me to swap to a Sin so that way we can do tank swaps?
I mean, no. I
No.
mean, if I get global the first time, sure. But we should be fine.
We should be
I-
fine.
I mean, unless my healers are just like, we don't like him.
Ooh, there's some shots fired to the healers.
Like,
Zonda and Beta, are
I'm
you guys
sure-
willing to
I'm-
do that?
I'm sure I've healed against Zonda in a few ranked matches, and this could be payback.
This could
I
be.
would
pivot-
point out I've probably won most of them, but
Oh, there is some sass going on in Discord tonight.
Well, when I was healing. I was a nuisance when I was on my
Ooh.
lethality operative. When I decide, oh, I can't heal against him, I better DPS.
All right, just need Kagi to zone in, and then we are good to go. So there's not really much difference in hard mode aside from things hit harder. You can't skip mechanics, and there are a lot of one shots. Thermal tolerance, will 2-3. Yeah, there's a huge DPS check. So again, you're gonna want to make sure that especially in 8-man, you can't really carry in hard mode. In 16-man, you can get by with 1 or 2 people. Yes, you can skip the Rancor if the DPS is high enough. It is definitely all relative, and it just really depends on your group. In 8-man, it's certainly a lot harder to carry lower DPS than it is in 16-man. so that's just something to be aware about. Typically, especially on the Satil Shan server, lots of people prefer to do 16-man, so it's very rare to do 18-man Xeno, especially hard mode. Xeno hard mode also has a chance to drop a red sphere, which is similar to the blue sphere that I actually have on this character. But it's red and it's very rare. So very rare to go naked legacy punch only. That is Bamf, my dude. So you cannot skip the core mechanic in hard mode. The cores have to be DPS'd. Otherwise, the negative reinforcement will kill somebody, if not two somebodies. Rancor, the Rancor third Rancor add phase can hit pretty hard. So typically we want to try to avoid the Rancor phase. The fewer add phases we have, the better. But really, aside from that, the mechanics do not change from story mode to hard mode. Do any of my experts have anything regarding they would like to talk about a little bit about hard mode Xeno? Yeah, there's zero. Go ahead.
Normally, you want to have your DPS and your healers like coordinated on the panels, like in between punching the panels. Like the ads will come out, and so the tank, like the one tank you have, should be given time to get aggro of as many of the ads as possible, while the DPS are clicking their panels. One healer clicks a panel, and you nominate one person to be the person who's like, oh yeah, when the ads are just about to die, I click this panel. As you saw in story mode, we killed the ads and then we all ran to click panels. If we do that in hard mode, we might not. We're wasting time at that point.
Right. So in hard mode, it's very good. It's beneficial if your group is coordinated. So everyone but one panel has been clicked. And then you have a designated DPS, range DPS, or a healer go and click that final panel right when you're ready. Right. So that way you don't have any DPS downtime. But that's just more an optimization rather than an absolute must. So don't feel, yeah, it's these are minor, like, niche things that can help you later on as you become more comfortable with the fight. One thing especially to notice for healers and tanks, especially if you're not a Sin, thermal tolerance hurts exceptionally hard. Thermal tolerance hurts. So, healers definitely need to be aware for thermal tolerance. That is technically the core mechanic for that is that it is a tank swap. That is the mechanic. How the mechanic was originally intended was that it's supposed to be a tank swap. But since lots of groups only single tank this, that's just something you have to be aware of if you are tanking this fight. You have to be ready to pop a cooldown, oil slick, energy shield, stealth out, reflect, as Kagi was talking about earlier. Save your big cooldowns for thermal tolerance, and then pray that your healers don't hate you. So, which they don't, right, guys? We don't have any bitter healers at all, right? The silence is just deafening.
Have you met me?
No comment.
My life is safe in their hands. It's
Very,
okay.
very safe. Yeah.
Clicking the button.
We are clicking the button.
Probably safe.
Mostly safe. Kind of safe?
Maybe safe.
Maybe safe.
Oh look, I have a source of the day. I feel safe.
Yeah. So assassins and shadows can shroud. They can stealth out. Force speed. Assassins and shadows are definitely the best in slot tank for this fight, but is absolutely doable with any type of tank. So you have 8 minutes in hard mode to kill the boss or phase the boss into burn phase. Yep. So and then cores or panels. So the AoE raid wide from the panel phase definitely hits a lot harder. Like it can take a lot more of a chunk out of you, so that's just something to be aware of.
A thing for healers, when that happens, don't panic if some DPS are a little low, because the only person who should be taking any damage at that point is going to be the tank. So you have to make sure the tank doesn't die. There's thermal tolerance.
See, that nearly
Oh, that's gonna be bad. That's gonna be real bad. 5 stack.
Yikes.
Good luck, healers.
So thermal tolerance melts the tank's armor. Core phase, so that's going to be south. So we've all swapped over, including the tank and the healers. We have all swapped over to the core. Man, this core is just melting though. Oh my gosh.
It's a sword DPS.
Oh yeah.
It's that jug DPS. Also, if you're not sure where to go, the Xenoanalyst will look at the core that it wants you to burn.
And it will have a tether, so a bright blue-white tether will connect the Xenoanalyst to the core that it wants you to DPS. We've got our first ad wave. The ads will always spawn from the entrance, which is at the eastern portion of the minimap. So dot specs, fluff your heart out here.
For the 10 seconds that the ads actually live.
So once again, so after the ads are down, we're gonna find the panels. I'm gonna find mine somewhere over the rainbow. So that takes out about half of my health, and I am in full 258s. So just to be aware.
Rip.
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 Double rip.
That's gonna be wiped.
That is.
So maybe don't take 5 stacks of thermal.
You want us to suck it?
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead
that's
and
a
suck
wipe.
it.
Oh yeah, that's a wipe.
Yeah, so as you can see, thermal tolerance does hit very, very hard. It melts the tank's armor. So it's just something to be aware of. Hey everyone.
Do you want me to just 3-spec?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna be swapping to my assassin.
Okay.
So we are all doing well. How is chat doing tonight? So just be aware that, hey, even experts like these guys can fail. I'm not an expert. I just work here. So all right. There. Thank you. So, but now we're going to show you how to cheese it, quote unquote, as an assassin. Failing is part of the gig. That's why I'm so good at it. Yep. It is not a tank fail. It is not a tank fail. There is no failing. Things just happen. Oh, that is my current location. Feels good. All right. Return to Ilum. So while we're here, while I am swapping over to do this, does anybody in chat have any questions for any of the experts regarding tanking, healing, mechanics, raid leading? Definitely throw them our way. Though I do have a question for the experts. Who is excited for Dread Fortress in 2 weeks?
What?
What?
What's in 2 weeks?
I can't take this. This is annoying.
My cat's on fire. Can't go.
That's okay. I didn't want you anyway. I can't take it. I have to get out of this space. I have to get out of the orbital station. I hate that. That is the one thing that bugs me. How do they stick with a main? There you go. That's a great question, guys. How do you stick with a main?
Well, I'm a big fan of jugs, so I always love playing with jugs.
Why? What in particular drew you to Jug?
It was my first tune. I really enjoyed the story when I played it, and just kept with it.
Just kept with it? Thank you for the summon, by the way.
It helps that Vengeful Slam is probably like the coolest looking move in the entire game.
I didn't start jug DPSing until 5.0.
Really?
True
See,
story.
I don't know though, because I think Thundering Blast is probably the coolest animation in the game. In all honesty.
Literally punch thunder at people. Like,
I
come on.
know, like, come
You don't want
on.
to do that.
All right, Tom, I'm going to put on my DPS left side, just BT dubs, my shoddy, crappy left side. So, all right, take 2. Go ahead and ready, check it up. And do you want him first, or do you want me to take him first?
I'll take him first.
All right, I'm gonna guard you then. All right, on you. Oh my gosh, yes, heat seekers are great.
Problem. This unit's
All right,
net
cores
shield confers
or
immunity from
panels.
attacks.
Where is my panel? Non-existent.
Evaluating thermal tolerance.
So that is the tank swap. I've picked him up while the other tank is kiting. So it means that because the thermal tolerance is an armor, it removes the player's armor.
Not quite. It just
Not
increases
quite.
your damage taken by 20% per stack. So if you're at 6 stacks, you're taking, 120% increased
100
damage. So you might as well have no defense.
You might as well have, yeah, you might as well be wearing Vapor armor. So that was the, this is the West Core, which was no problem. One of the things to mention though, when you do stealth out as a tank during thermal tolerance, you have to immediately open back up with a taunt and grab him back, because you will have no you will have no threat.
And he does a lot of damage to DPS, so if he gets
Yeah.
more than one hit off on a DPS, that DPS is probably dead.
Yep. So,
The big oof.
big oof indeed. All right, panels.
Got one open panel over here.
Getting ready for thermal tolerance.
Evaluating thermal tolerance.
See, I immediately opened back up with taunt and grabbed him off of the Power Tech DPS. So the Power Tech DPS didn't die.
And you
Shit
took
his
no
pants.
stacks.
And I took no stacks!
Which is why assassins are the best tank for this by far, because it's absolutely trivial to completely just ignore that mechanic. You just stealth as soon as you see the cast, you don't even get stacks, and then you don't have to tank swap because you don't have any snap.
Exactly. So here's a question, Kagi. How does Sin tanking compare to Jug tanking? What are the differences in target prioritization?
A little confused on what you mean by target prioritization.
There is no real difference in target prioritization, right? It's just you have different
Right,
ways.
You're gonna be using your cooldowns differently as a Jug versus an assassin. The reason people like assassin tanks is that you can kind of spot. Think of it as like mopping. A assassin can spot mop however they want with their defensive cooldowns, and a Jug tank has to mop the entire floor with their cooldowns. Like their cooldowns last for such a long period of time compared to an assassin's.
Are Sin tanks better for mitigating, avoiding energy force damage? Oh, wow. So as you can see, I just took a massive spike there. So Sins definitely can be very spiky, especially since I'm wearing a DPS left side.
Yeah, that'd probably be why.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, you're only running 1200 shield with that DPS left side, which is way, way low for a Sin tank.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's why you're spiking.
Yeah.
Evaluating battle awareness.
We should let Tom take him. Sins also bring really, like, they bring, it's very hard to do it as a tank, but, you know, if you don't have a stealth res in the group, you know, a Sin tank is good to have those, like, oh god moments. Tom, why don't you take him?
Push him before we get more mechanics.
Yep.
Fan.
What is the bounty hunter tank spec? It is shield.
Shield tech.
Shield tech. Yep, power tech, shield tech. How do they compare to force user tanks? Currently, power techs and vanguard tanks are not exactly in the best spot tank-wise.
Depends what you're doing. They do a lot of DPS, so in fights where you have tight DPS checks, they're going to do more damage than Sins do.
Yes.
Their biggest weakness, in my opinion, is that you don't have as many cheeses for mechanics. So, like, you'll notice this especially if you try to tank Bronte's Nightmare and you have to deal with orbs on a power tech. You just don't have a lot of options for that.
Nope. And there you go. And that is how you do. What is the shield number for Juggers? I actually have a chart that I can do. Blue acute. So, and that is actually how you properly do this fight with the tank swaps and all. Hey guys, what is the shield number for Juggers? I actually have a chart for you. Let me pull that up. I'm going to copy this for you. I am the best edgelord tank. Dang straight. I'm going to open it up for questions from chat. Any questions for any of the experts? I do just want to say thank you once again to Zonda, Ranman, Ryan, and Governator. Guys, thank you so very much for filling in for us tonight.
You guys are awesome.
Sorry, Ryan, that you had quite a few dings today.
It's all good.
I never get to ding people.
My wife was happy because I got to clean up dinner for her. So.
Yay! I am well. Thank you so very much for asking. How are you guys? So, unless anyone has any questions for our experts, I'm going to go ahead and end this special episode of Entering Operations. Entering Operations for Scum and Villainy will be up this weekend. So look forward to that. That'll be up on YouTube. I will be coming back in an hour. We have Offensive Tactics Raid, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be healing tonight, which is... Everybody already pray for me. Yes.
Very fun.
Shush your face. Hey.
And more epic DD tank.
How's that single life treating you, Ramman?
Oof.
Well, one leaves me scarred, and then the other's single life.
I'm not that bad.
She got her healing skills from not me. I got nothing for y'all on that.
I got my healing skills from PvP. There you go. Well, yes, there is going to be a second stream tonight, but guys, experts, you know, everyone, thank you guys so very much for joining us for this special episode of Entering Operations. Our next episode will be on June 1st at 2 p.m. CST. We're going to be covering Dread Fortress, one of my favorite operations, period. So I will be back. We will be back in about an hour. I will see you guys then. Rand's healing. Also, Ranbro is healing. So it's going to be a tag team tonight. It's going to be awesome. Lots of memes tonight. So I will see you all in an hour. But guys, once again, thank you so very much for coming and spending an hour of your Friday evening with us tonight. I appreciate all of you.
It was fun. Thanks.
Good night.